Senator Roy Blunt now joins us. Good morning, Senator. How are you?
Tim, I'm good. It's great to be with you, and I'm glad you're setting in for Jamie the next couple of days. He does a great job every day, and I know you're going to do a great job pinch hitting there as we're talking about these big, important issues and what's not only actually a hot June for Missouri, but it's going to be a really hot political year, I think, as we make some big decisions about who we're going to be for a long time. You know, as you and I have talked about several times this year, I really do think this is a generational election where what we decide about who we're going to be is going to set the side panels for a long time, and we better make the right decision here, or we can wind up just like Greece and Italy and Ireland and Portugal and Spain and Cyprus in the papers today. I mean, the list just keeps going on and on of what happens if you let your government get bigger than your economy can support.
You know, Senator, you're absolutely right, and I've heard you mention this quite a bit in some of the remarks you've given recently. You really feel, and I agree with you, this is one of those pivotal points in our history, is it not, where we're going to be making some decisions, where we're going to go down one path or the other.
I think that's right, and I think the president is very clear about the path he wants us to take, and it seems to me it's very much in the mode of what's happened in Europe for the last 65 years, and I think Governor Romney is increasingly more and more effective in talking about the alternatives, and of course you've got the president and the things you were talking about earlier, who has just apparently decided that as president he can do anything he wants to do. If he doesn't want to enforce the Defense of Marriage Act, he can just tell the Justice Department, we're not going to enforce this law any longer. If he doesn't want to enforce the immigration laws, he can just tell the Department of Homeland Security, we're not going to enforce the immigration laws anymore. And this is a president who's trying to get reelected. He doesn't even have the flexibility, as he described it to the Russians, that he'll have once he gets elected another time. So I think people should be concerned as much about the way the president views his power as the specific things he's doing.
Well, you were right about that. He has said some frightening things. And, you know, something else that I know you have been all over, you're concerned for our veterans, those who are, you know, continue to give the ultimate sacrifice and the ultimate service to our country. This issue with the VA hospital here in St. Louis has come up again, has it not? And you're calling for an explanation on their continued dysfunction. Can you tell us what's going on again with that facility?
Oh, I think their performance is just not what it needs to be, and you said it exactly right. We have an obligation to our veterans to honor their service, and part of that agreement is to honor their service with health care that is dependable and top quality, and that's just not been happening in all instances at the Cochrane facility. I had the Inspector General from the Veterans Administration in my office one day earlier this week to say how in March could Dr. Petzel, who runs this part of the veterans programs, tell me in a hearing that everything is really going well at Cochrane, and then 2 weeks later there's a report out that talks about the things that aren't nearly what they should be. This facility is operated in the lower levels of the VA system for too long. All these hospitals need to be as good as they can be, and I'm hopeful that by keeping insisting that Cochrane get to that point, that it'll get to that point sooner rather than later. But I'm not happy with the way the Veterans Administration at Washington has dealt with Cochrane. There are clearly some specific employee problems at the hospital itself. But I think the attitude in Washington toward the Cochrane facility has not been nearly what it should be, and in fact, I believe misleading in specific questions that I've asked them about what was going on at that facility.
Well, Senator, thank you very much. We've got to run for now, but we appreciate you coming on with us as always, and we may have to get you on next week if that Obamacare decision comes down.
Well, I'd love to do that. We'll see what they decide, and as I've said also several times, if they decide it's constitutional, I'm still opposed to it. I think the three questions here are: is it constitutional? Is it a good plan, and can we afford it? And at the answer to any of them is no, we shouldn't do it. I think the answer to all three of them is no, but if the answer to any of them is no, we need to look for better ways to make our health care system work better for Missourians and Americans.
Well, Senator, thank you.
You've been talk to you, and I hope I can be with you again next week.
Hey, thank you, Senator. We'll talk to you real soon. Thanks for coming on. Senator Roy Blunt, blunt.senate.gov, and he's on the Twitter feed at Roy Blunt. This is Tim Jones in for Jamie Allman, the Allman in the Morning Show, FM News Talk 97.1.